4. This is my 4th Dora video. To quote a famous Mel Gibson movie, I'm getting too old for this. So quick rundown. Sticky Tape, craziest thing I've ever seen. El Coquille, had a nice song at the end. And Berry Hunt, crazy but not Sticky Tape levels of crazy. And now we're at the 4th one. This episode is entitled Pablo's Flute. I'm at my 4th Dora video, so let's just go ahead and get this over with. Let's see how it measures up on the Dora crazy scale. So it starts out with Dora saying that she's got a book about a magic flute that's in her backpack. We open up the backpack, it sings the backpack, backpack song, and we see these books flying around. Apparently they have like musical instruments on them, like there's one with a guitar and there's another one with a cowbell. Insert Christopher Walken joke here. But eventually they do find the book about the magic flute, and they start to read. Apparently, there's this boy named Pablo who lives with his grandpa up in the mountains, and to quote a famous Tennessee song, corn won't grow at all on Rocky Top, dirt's too rocky by far. And that's why they can't grow any good crops, they can't get any milk or eggs from the chicken, milk from the cows or eggs from the chickens, ugh, my bad. And apparently, instead of moving out to the valley where the soil is more lush, Grandpa decides to build a magic flute for Pablo that apparently make all their crops grow, make all their cows have milk, and their chickens have eggs. Now, this flute is made up of 5 different pieces, each with a different number of holes. Like the first piece is 1 hole, the second piece is 2 holes, so on and so forth. And this is done in a way to teach kids how to count to 5 in Spanish, but it's done in the musical scale of do, re, mi, fa, sol, or as they do it, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. And apparently this magic flute, like I said, makes everything start to grow. And this is where we get to the one saving grace of the episode, because that's the song that he plays is actually kind of nice. Excuse me. Unlike in the Coquille song, I said it was a nice song, but the lyrics were a little repetitive because it just said Coquille over and over and over again. In this song, there are no lyrics. It's just an instrumental piece of this kid playing this magic flute. And it's a really nice melody. It's got like, it runs very smoothly. And it mostly goes off the do, re, mi, fa, sol musical cue. And like I said, if you do find a copy of this episode, just watch it for that song because it is very, very nice. But like I said, it makes all the crops grow. It makes these chickens lay giant piles of eggs. It makes the cows start to dance. It makes the llamas look really annoyed for some reason. Like, they're supposed to be happy, but their face just go, blah, blah, like, we don't care, blah. And then one day, this giant windstorm comes, it blows the flute out of Pablo's hand, and now the farm turns into crap. So Dora and Boots decide, we better go find this flute and bring it back to Pablo. Even though it's just a story that they read in a book, how do they know if it's real? Whatever, I've done 4 Dora episodes. I'm kind of burnt out on this whole logic thing. So, of course, they find the flute. They decide to take it back. They look at the map. And the map, and the map, and the map. And apparently to get to Pablo's mountain, you gotta go through something called a windy bridge, and then through something called a spooky forest, which has these tall, black, burnt trees that kind of look like something you'd see from The Wizard of Oz. And during the watch party that I did with a couple of friends, I was like, okay, this might become really interesting because Dora is known for doing unintentionally scary things, and seeing how this place is called the Spooky Forest, we might get some intentionally scary things that could be just as frightening as the Echo Bush in El Coquille. So, okay, we might get some meme-worthy stuff from this spooky forest. So, of course, they go along the journey. Come on, Dominoes! Everybody, let's go! And they run into Swiper. They do the swiper, not swiping! He eventually pisses off. And then they finally get to this windy bridge, which, just like in the Windy River, wind only happens at this one place. Of course, it blows the flute out of their hands, it breaks, they get it in the wrong order, Mi sol do fa re. That's actually a nice vocal warm-up. I should try it next time. They get it back in the right order, and then they're continuing to travel along. Come on, Dominoes! Everybody, let's go! And then they finally get to the spooky forest. I was like, okay, showtime. They find their toucan friend, I forget his name, and he's saying, watch out, because this spooky forest is filled with all sorts of spooky things. Okay, so what are we going to see in this spooky forest? Witches? Ghosts? Maybe vampires or zombies? It's filled with snakes, wolves, and bats. That's not a spooky forest, that's Gatlinburg. I live in Tennessee, for crying out loud, and okay, maybe I don't see bats everywhere, but snakes and wolves, or maybe coyotes in this case, this spooky forest is just a regular forest you'd find in Tennessee. There's nothing really spooky about it except for the trees. But there's more. Apparently, the way to get out of the spooky forest is to find something called a friendly owl, which kind of looks like the Tootsie Pop mascot, and they will lead them out of the forest. So they're going along, and they see 4 different colored paths. A green path, a red path, a blue path, and a yellow path. I remember in the watch party, shout out to Star Sailor X and Lars's DVD Time channel, they were making all sorts of jokes about where the paths led. Like, the yellow one led to Oz, the blue one led to Atlantis, the red one led to Hell, and the green one, I forget where the green one went, some mythical setting. You can reply in the comments of where the green path went. But, of course, since the friendly owl is blue, of course, it's the blue path that leads them out of the forest. And so they're traveling along, they finally make it to Pablo's mountain, and they reach a cliff, even though the map showed that there was a path they could just easily walk up on. Whatever. And, of course, there's a rope that just so happens to be next to it. Dora takes the rope, lassos it up to a tree on the top of the cliff. They climb up the cliff like they're Batman and Robin from the old 60s Batman show. And then we get to the one unintentionally funny part of this episode. Because Swiper comes back and he climbs up the rope. They do the whole swiper no swiping thing. And I remember in the watch party, I was joking they should just cut the rope and let him fall to his death. But no, that actually happens. Like, after Swiper goes, oh man, the rope breaks. He looks down, gives a Wile E. Coyote look, and then he just falls. He's crumbled up into a ball. He kind of looks like a Dragon Ball, and he's going, oh man. It was so funny. Like, during that watch part, we had to rewind that and watch it several times because we just bursted out laughing. I said it would have been funny if, like, after he just falls to his death, like, oh man, it just went, and he'd just die on the spot. It's just, like, I was literally joking about that, and they actually do it. Like, I'm just going to put that image in Renegade-related memes because it's just too funny. But anyway, Swiper does not die. He, of course, just gets a bump on his head and runs off. They bring the flute back to Pablo. He plays the good song that I mentioned. It, of course, makes all the crops grow. It makes the cows dance. It makes the chickens lay giant piles of eggs. And it makes the corn grow, but unlike last time, the corn have faces. Like, they got beady little eyes, and they give a face like that. It's unintentionally creepy, so I guess those things should have been in the spooky forest. And the episode ends. And right during the what's your favorite part, Boots actually says, my favorite part was when Swiper fell off the cliff. Ha ha ha. 2 things. 1, that's kind of dark. And 2, yeah, that actually was my favorite part because it was so unintentionally funny. So, how does this episode compare with the other 3 I've reviewed? Honestly, not much. It's one of the better episodes. And I do say better in quotation marks because other than Swiper falling down and that nice song, there wasn't much substance to this episode. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting a little burnt out from doing this. I mean, I've done 4 episodes. I think maybe it's time I just stop at 4. Like, I think this is just going to be my last Dora video that I'm going to do. I mean, I've watched most of the season 1 episode, most of the episodes that I grew up with on VHS tapes, and those were the only 3 that stuck out to me. I mean, what other episode is there that I could possibly... What was that off-screen Charlie Brown voice? There's another episode. Oh, really? What's this episode called? Big River? Yeah, oh, like Old Man River. Okay, well, what's this Big River episode about? Hey, what? Hey. Join me in the 5th Dora episode.